guys, I'm back for my Raw review, and now I'm finally kind of, back on track with everything. Obviously last week I kind of did like a really short like Raw and SmackDown review because I just obviously didn't have time to do a proper one, but now I'm back on track now. But before I do that, I just want to say thanks to the people who obviously watched and commented on my video that I did at the weekend. Obviously got quite a lot of comments and responses from that one, so that was cool. Had a couple of video responses and things, which I don't normally get on my videos, so that was really cool. So obviously I know the categories were kind of vague and it was really hard, like a lot of people struggled to kind of fit into it, but I just wanted to see what you guys said, and like I said, I was just copying what they, the actual categories were on the forum. They weren't my own ones, I didn't make them up, I was just copying that. So maybe in the future I'll do like one where I actually pick my own like kind of more specific categories, but we'll see what happens with that. So anyway, sorry, I've got like a really dodgy like mouth and throat today, so I can't like talk properly. I've got like, you get like those like really horrible, like it feels like you've cut like the inside of your mouth, so I can't like open my mouth properly and talk, so if I sound like even worse than I normally do, then I apologise. By the way, obviously now that I use my videos like on this camera, obviously it's better quality, so it lets me like, do like the whole like HD and like thing with like captions and stuff. Has anyone actually tried to watch any of my videos with captions? Because it is absolutely ridiculous what they say that I'm saying. Obviously because I speak far too fast for them to actually translate it properly, but some of the things that they come up with is hilarious. But anyway, that's kind of sidetracking. So Raw this week was in London, England, and obviously last year's Raw that they did in England was horrendous. It was so bad. I remember like, doing like the most negative review ever on that one. But this year's one was better. I mean, it wasn't like an amazing show by any means, but it was a lot better than last year's anyway. I just find it really funny how they always like, whenever they come to England, they always have like, like the phone box and the big red bus on the stage, and it's like, why do they do that for? I know it's, meant to be all like British stereotyping, but it's a bit lame that they have like, the same things every single year. Anyway, so the first match was the title match, WWE title match between CM Punk and Henry, which was weird that that went on first, but so obviously it was a no DQ and no count out match. CM Punk ran the rail like Jeff Hardy. I was like, what? He's stealing Jeff Hardy's spot. I know he did a different move because he did like, more kind of like a bulldog after he like ran the rail, but I was like, gimmick infringement. How can you steal Jeff Hardy's move? But anyway, so Henry was pretty much in it. This was obviously quite a slow paced match, obviously because Henry's not going to be like flying around the ring, but Henry was in control quite a lot of this. Jericho. CM Punk was still going through like the whole like back injury thing from like like WrestleMania, so obviously he couldn't do some of like his moves. Punk like jumped off the apron, but Henry caught him and threw him into the barricade. That was a nice spot. Then CM Punk starts using the chair, which is kind of odd for like I know because he's not like a typical babyface, but for the babyface to start using like the weapons, obviously usually like role reversal, but Henry still kicked out. Henry goes to the World's Strongest Slam, but CM Punk gets out of it and manages to do the kick and then does his high knee, but the Bulldog gets countered like last time, except for obviously Punk can't get counted out this time like he did last time. But then there's like a steel chair like set up in like between like the ring ropes, and Punk moves out of the way, so Henry runs straight into it, and then CM Punk does the diving elbow using the steel chair to get the win. So that's that. So it was quite a good match actually. I mean, it wasn't like amazing by any means, but it was pretty decent. But then Jericho appears on the Titantron, and he's obviously saying stuff to Punk again, and he says that their title match at Extreme Rules is going to be a Chicago street fight. I'll talk about the stipulation stuff for Extreme Rules in a minute, but yeah, no. So it's a Chicago street fight, so obviously, like, like, Punk's all like, oh, are you telling me that, you're gonna let me, like, destroy you in front of all my family and friends and all this kind of stuff, and then, Jericho starts going on about the whole alcohol thing again and says that he's got footage of what Punk was doing before the show, and shows him going into like a pub and stuff, and he said, oh, what were you doing, drinking? And then CM Punk's like, oh no, can't I go into a pub and have fish and chips with my friends, which started like a fish and chips chant, which was awesome. Yeah, forget ice cream bars, we want fish and chips now, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, so then obviously Punk tries to start retaliating, but Jericho just like cuts off, he's not on the screen anymore, so Punk's like angry. So yeah, that was quite a good opening match and opening segment. Yeah, just the fact that fish and chips, gets a chant and like a WWE show is pretty awesome. But anyway, no, so like I think the stipulations are kind of weird for like Extreme Rules. Obviously, I know they're not going to have like loads of gimmicky matches, but they're not really very interesting ones. Obviously, a street fight, fair enough, but it's just kind of hardcore. Like, to see him, I can't even talk. Cena and Lesnar's is just being called an Extreme Rules match. So does that just mean no DQ as well, if you see what I mean? Obviously the Daniel Bryan's one's 2 out of 3 falls. Not really very extreme, so at the moment they haven't really got like what I'd call any kind of really proper like, Extreme Rule gimmick matches. But we'll see what happens. Maybe they're just trying to get away from all the kind of like gimmicky stuff, but it makes it a bit more interesting, when they throw in like a ladder match or a table match or something a bit interesting. Anyway, so then we have Santino Marella facing David Otunga. for the US title. Santino Marella is so over. Like, seriously. I remember when I went to a WWE show a couple of years ago, he was quite popular, you know, but like, he just literally, like, especially with the British crowd, he got, like, cheered, like loads. The crowd were really good at the show as well. You know, English crowds are amazing, of course. But, you know, but obviously, yeah, he came out and was, like, wearing, like, all the different kind of, like, football shirts and stuff. Obviously, like, Man U, Chelsea, Arsenal getting booed, until he finally reveals an England shirt, which he gets cheered for. Santino Marella wins with a Cobra. David Otunga somehow managed to, like, botch, like, a cover, like, or, like, attempted pinfall. I mean, how does anyone botch a cover? That was so terrible. But anyway, Santino won. So that was that. Brock Lesnar wasn't actually on the show, which I guess would have been kind of... If I'd have gone there, I'd kind of been hoping that, you know, Lesnar was going to be there, but obviously it was just, like, a pre-recorded thing, talking about his match with Cena. His controversial words, as it was called, saying that, you know, Cena's afraid of him. He actually, you know, obviously they bleeped it out, but it was used quite a lot of swearing, which obviously, you know, WWE do seem to be kind of going away from, like, the PG thing, kind of. Not, like, totally, but, you know, a while back, they wouldn't have even had that on there, even, like, censored. But anyway, so, that was quite a good, little thing from Lesnar there. So then Zack Ryder faced Kane in a total squash. Zack Ryder got big booted off the apron and chokeslammed, and Kane won, and it was like, wow. Zack Ryder has just turned into, like, a total jobber, which is really annoying. But, you know, but then Kane's on the mic and says that, you know, Orton was easy to take out. He thought that, you know, he knew he'd be able to take out his dad easily, but taking him out was too easy. So, like father, like son, apparently. Kane's promos are a little bit boring. I'm not being funny, but he's not, like, the most interesting talker, to be honest. So then Cena comes out, and he says that he has a problem with Laurinaitis using his authority to replace Cena. And he says that Extreme Rules, he will fight! You know, and his, like, voice kind of broke on the end of that, which was kind of funny. But anyway, then Laurinaitis comes out and he says that he's going to put Cena in an Extreme Rules match tonight, but he's not going to tell him his opponent, and it's all about the people power. That is going to be so lame and cheesy and just horrendous if they keep saying that all the time, but you know, I guess that's the whole point. So anyway, the next match was Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan, and before this they had, like, a backstage segment. Kofi was talking to AJ and saying, you know, that, oh, you know, she needed to kind of, you know, smile and cheer up a little bit, even I know she'd had, like, a rough time, but she, you know, needs to be a little bit happy. But then Daniel Bryan comes out and says, oh, what's going on here, are you trying to steal, you know, AJ or whatever, even though, you know, they broke up. And he tells AJ, you know, I can't remember exactly what he says to AJ, but anyway, he says to Kofi that he's going to put him in the LaBelle Lock, and he's like, oh no, wait, why should it be called the LaBelle Lock? I'm going to rename it to the Yes Lock. And then just keeps chanting yes, like, for literally just 2 minutes of solid, like, chanting, like, yes, and Kofi's, like, looking at him like he's completely crazy, and then walks away. That was quite funny. But anyway, no, Daniel Bryan is seriously over. Like, the yes chants were, like, going, like, all night, like, you know, through the arena, like, in every single match. I don't know if it's going to get a bit annoying, because I went through a phase where, like, the what chant got, like, really annoying when they did it after, like, every single word that somebody said. But obviously, fair enough, like, during, like, Daniel Bryan stuff, but if it's literally going to be every single match, it's a bit like, oh, for goodness sake. Okay, I can understand, like, during the Daniel Bryan segments, but if that happens all the time, it might get a little bit annoying. But we'll see what happens. But anyway, so to Kofi Kingston, Daniel Bryan, Kofi hits the boom drop. Daniel Bryan goes for the yes lock, but it gets counted into the SOS. But Bryan kicks out, but then he actually does lock on the yes lock. It sounds so funny calling it the yes lock. I don't know whether to actually call it the yes lock or the LaBelle Lock, but whatever. So Kofi taps out, but then he puts the move on again, but then Sheamus comes out to make the save, and he goes for the bro kick, but Bryan escapes, and they just kind of smirk at each other. So anyway, lots of matches on the show. Lots of talking. Anyway, so Brodus Clay then faced Dolph Ziggler. So obviously, yeah, like I said last time, it's good that, you know, Brodus is, like, kind of, you know, more interacting now with, like, the better kind of stars, not just, like, jobbers all the time. So the match doesn't really get started though, because, like, pretty much as soon as, like, the match starts, Swagger interferes, you know, and gets disqualified. And then Vicky, like, pushes over one of, like, the, I don't know which one it is, if it's Naomi or Cameron, pushes over one of them, and then the other one is in the ring and pushes her over there, so Vicky starts screaming, like, no, because she's all embarrassed, and then they dance. So, there we go, that was that. So, you know, hopefully they will have actually have, like, a proper match sometime. Then Great Khali and Big Show faced Primo and Epico. Yeah, it was just a squash, really. Khali and Big Show do, like, double choke slam. Well, Khali doesn't really do a choke slam, but you know what I mean, the move where he, like, grabs him by the throat and slams him. So they do a double choke slam, and they, like, hug each other afterwards, but they, like, hug for way too long. Like, Khali just, like, doesn't let go of the hug, and it's like, okay, this is weird now. But, you know, never mind, so that was that. And then the main event was John Cena, so obviously, you know, facing his mystery opponent in an Extreme Rules match, which turned out to be Lord Tensai, because I was thinking, who could it be? I can't think of any other, like, you know, big heel characters that haven't actually been on this show yet. So yes, it was Lord Tensai, so it was a bit like, oh. But you know, I thought, well, you know, they've obviously got to have some kind of faith in him, and must be like pushing him a bit if they're going to put him in like the main event against Cena, like, you know, 2 weeks after his debut. Yeah, it wasn't like, you know, like the best of matches really. I just think the thing I find with like Tensai is just his character. He's a bit kind of like slow to like do moves and stuff. I know it's like the whole Japanese thing, you know, like where he goes like this and stuff like before moves, and it's a bit like, okay, just kind of get on with it. That was the only problem I had with his matches against the jobbers, is that he just took too long. Like he would squash them, but it was really drawn out kind of like process. If he just kind of squashed them a bit quicker, it would be a bit better. But you know, anyway, so David Otunga interferes, but he, you know, Otunga gets like the attitude adjustment done to him, but then obviously Cena kind of turns around and Lord Tensai, like, you know, spits like green mist in Cena's face so he can't see, and then hits him with like the Boldo Bomb. I don't know what the actual new name for that move is, but I'm going to still call it the Boldo Bomb because that's what it used to be called. So Lord Tensai actually got the win, which was quite surprising really, you know, getting a main event win over Cena, like, you know, really soon into like your kind of like new run in the company. But yeah, but no, it's cool to see like them using like the green mist stuff again, because obviously after the match Cena was like, I can't see, give me water. But obviously it didn't look quite as effective as like when Tajiri used to use it, but obviously, yeah, and surely like the ref would notice that, you know, that Cena's face is now green, but I don't know if that counts as like illegal or illegal. Obviously Tajiri used to do it when the referee wasn't looking, but then surely they'd notice afterwards, yeah, that they had mist all over their face. But whatever, anyway, so it was a win for Tensai. Cena lost in the main event, so I'm assuming this is kind of going to be leading to this kind of, you know, thing with Cena, like, obviously saying, you know, has this loss to Rock at WrestleMania, like, affected him? Is it making him, you know, not seem to be able to, you know, get the job done, so to speak, anymore? But, you know, we'll see what happens with that, really. So yeah, that was my Raw review. Hopefully that all made sense. I hope I didn't talk for too long. But you know, yeah, so no, thanks for, like, you know, I've kind of managed to like get back all my subscribers that I kind of lost when I went on my like little break, so that's cool. So hopefully I'll get to 1,000, you know, hopefully at some point. That would be nice. But you know, I'm not really, like I say, I'm not really bothered. I'm not like, you know, like, oh, I'm going to quit if I don't get any subscribers, because I'm not really like that. It doesn't bother me. I know you guys always watch my videos and comment and stuff, so that's cool. Anyway, it's something got really dark in here. It's horrible weather. I'm having to wear, you know, my big fat winter fleece, like, we're almost in May, and I'm wearing, like, my big fat fleece, which isn't good. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking now, because I just, like, ramble on for ages after I've actually finished, like, talking about the wrestling. But yeah, no, so thanks for watching this video. I will try and get a SmackDown video at the weekend. It's a bit, yeah, work at the moment, because we've had like loads of people leave, so I'm having to kind of do like Saturday nights as well as Friday nights, so I might, it depends when I actually get around to watching SmackDown, but I'll see what happens. Anyway, I'll like let you know on like Twitter or whatever I'm going to be able to do a video. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. Leave a comment, subscribe if you want to, like this video, do whatever, and I will see you next time. Bye!